I have some rounds. I should probably.
How's DeLuca?
We should probably steer clear of each other for a while.
Okay, then. I'll avoid you completely.
We're family.
If you plan to make a play here, rethink that. I'll fight for her.
Hey guys, so my apologies for getting my review of And Dream of Sheep and the trailer for Added Up so late. I just got to watch the episode today. On Thursday, I went to a late showing of Captain Marvel, so I missed Grey's Anatomy, and then I was away for the weekend due to St. Patrick's Day. But I want to discuss both the trailer and the prior episode because I think they do need to be discussed, and obviously to keep the Grey's Anatomy streak going, we need to get both conversations out there. But I think that this review will be shorter for both the trailer review and for the episode review because I honestly found the episode very boring. And then the trailer didn't really spark too much of excitement. And normally the trailer will get me really pumped up, and then I'll look at the episode description and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be really, really fun. But let's go into the episode and then discuss the trailer. And there is a chapter time in the video description that notes when the trailer discussion begins if you want to discuss that. Granted, the discussion is, more or less going to be moot at this point because the episode is airing in Canada tomorrow. So I found, and I believe most people agree with me, that this episode had two clear storylines, with the main one being in the hospital and then having Amelia and Link being the B storyline. But the hospital storyline itself had several subsections to it, with Bailey and Joe and Maggie and Jackson. The main storyline of the hospital really involved Teddy, Owen, DeLuca, and Alex. Alex, was also involved with Bailey and his mom, kinda. He didn't even interact with his mother in this episode, which I thought was really weird. I'm like, what's the whole purpose of having Helen Karev come on the show if she's only going to be there for like just minutes at a time? Like, make her more relevant, because I actually really like the actress and I really like the character. So there's a lot of tension happening between DeLuca and his sister due to the father, because the father's clearly bipolar, and there's a lot of issues going on with the father's projects to put essentially a baby in a bag. And the main medical storyline is there's a woman and her husband come in, they have an accident, and the baby is going to die. The woman is 21 weeks pregnant, and essentially DeLuca's father comes in and says, oh, I can put this baby in a bag, and everyone's kind of like, no, you can't, because it's not medically approved, and then the baby dies. And it causes some issues with Teddy and Owen, and this is character development for the relationship, because you really do wonder, can they get back together? Because Owen had mentioned in the episode that him and Amelia are over. And then Alex is involved because he's the interim chief, and he's like, okay, I can't let this procedure happen because it's not approved. And that was kind of it. And quite honestly, I liked it. I like Kim Raver. I like her interactions with Owen. I do ship Towen quite a bit. But I really felt that the way they wrapped up DeLuca's father's storyline so fast was really unfortunate. I felt that this could have been at least 5 episodes, not just 2. It was just very, very disappointing to me, and it was shocking. Bailey was dealing with Alex and his mother, and Bailey was really funny with Alex when she called him a jackass, and Chandra Wilson, didn't even get to kind of go into why she had mental illness. And we know why she's OCD, but there could have been a whole discussion between Alex, his mother, and her. There could have been so many other alternative scenes that I think would have made this episode just stand out just a little bit. This episode really is a background noise episode, or even a skippable episode, because the father just doesn't do enough to make him seem not so much like a villain, but to seem like a main or an important character. And I think the main crux of the hospital storyline is the relationship between Teddy and Owen, which I kind of feel is the main thing of the season, because DeLuca didn't even talk to Meredith except for at the beginning and the end of this episode. And Meredith was like a blip in this episode. So not needed, unnecessary, just in the background. And the same thing truly applies to Weber, which I thought was unfortunate. James Pickett Jr. is so talented, and if you think back to how prevalent he was in seasons, many seasons obviously, but if you think back to like season 6, where he's dealing with his addiction storyline and whatnot, like there's so much they can do with him, and he doesn't need to be there in every episode, but give him more than just a scene. And then, Jackson's making Skin, and then Maggie is giving an interview, and like Maggie and Weber could have even been involved there, or Weber could have been involved with Maggie's storyline there, And it's unfortunate that all these characters who are portrayed by such talented actors and actresses got to do very, very little. And the whole purpose of the Amelia and Link storyline was to bring them together. Now, I've kind of said that characters become more interesting when they're involved and when they're a duo. And, Link came on the show, and he was, he said, does someone need an orthogod? And now Callie had already been so established, and as I talked about, that him saying that was jarring to many fans and to myself. So he kind of needs to be attached to someone, and since he's no longer a love interest for Meredith because she's taken by DeLuca, and now Amelia is newly single, let's give him to Amelia, and that's just essentially establishing the relationship, and then they had sex. And honestly, Amelia and Link, I think, is fine. I have no problem with it. It makes sense. It's quite frankly, it was organically written, and I liked it because they had a fight, then they did it, and it makes sense for the drama and the soap opera-ness that Grey's Anatomy is. But overall, it was just very dull. I found the episode to be there. It was just kind of progressing the plot to a point where it's really just about Owen and Teddy, because DeLuca and Meredith, even in the trailer for next week, seem to be really not so much done, but just like off the charts. I think the next couple episodes seem to be focused on Toddy versus Towen. So let's talk about the trailer now. So it says that Maggie introduces mood rooms as an alternative approach to medicine. Alex and DeLuca butt heads over an 11-year-old patient who tries to sabotage her own surgery. Jackson and Richard deal with a gender non-binary patient. Meanwhile, Teddy has a pregnancy scare that brings Owen and Karasik at odds. Now, the trailer also does show... No, the trailer doesn't show many of this at all. The only thing the trailer really shows in terms of the episode description is Owen versus Karasik. It doesn't show anything really involving Maggie. Granted, they did show Maggie walking with the interns and Bailey, but it had nothing to do... I mean, it probably does have to do with her plotline of the mood rooms, but it wasn't mentioned in the trailer. They could have shown Alex and DeLuca butting heads at some point in this trailer, because it does show Meredith talking about DeLuca to Alex. So why is that not there? I mean, again, the trailer doesn't have to have everything that's in the episode description, but the episode description is just so much more detailed and so much more interesting than the trailer itself. Now, it does, as I said, hype up Toddy versus Towen, and I do like that. It's very intense, and I think that this storyline is really what's going to be driving the rest of the season, because now who will she choose from Meredith is done, and it's kind of now who will Owen end up with. And, for those who like Karasik and Teddy, you hope that one, and vice versa for Owen and Teddy. Honestly, I do like Owen and Teddy. I think it just makes sense canon-wise, but I could see her end up choosing Karasik, which would just drive Owen insane. Jackson and Richard dealing with a gender non-binary patient. I think that's an interesting idea, but I'm curious how it's going to be set up. They have to be relatively sensitive to that. I mean, in my opinion, with the LGBT storyline that they've been doing with Nico Kim and Glasses, I think it's kind of bad. In fact, actually, I don't think it's kind of bad. I think it's horrible. Especially when you come off of Calizona, or Arizona and Cali, and then Arizona then dating other women and whatnot. Like, I think Arizona is such a defined LGBT character along with Cali, that when you are just kind of doing little specks of it throughout the season and hyping it up as a really big deal, it's insulting. So I'm curious how this storyline will work out. And also the tech intern is supposed to be transgender, and they've done very, very little with him. Alex Wood Davies is a really cool actor. He's so chill, and how he talked about Jo, how he talked to Jo and revealed that her mother is alive. And actually, that's one thing I didn't discuss in my episode part of the review. We're going to be seeing Jo's mother soon, so Jo will have something to do as well, though. Her character's storyline in episode 17 was so insignificant that I even forgot about it. I didn't even get to put it in my notes, and I watched the episode just an hour ago. So overall, I think Amelia and Link, what they showed in the trailer of that, I think they're going to definitely hook up. They're definitely going to be together for a little while. More or less, DeLuca and Meredith not being together or being in trouble or on the rocks or however you want to do it, they're definitely going to be together. Makes sense because of how the storyline went with his father leaving at the end of episode 17. But now it's like, who do you want, Toddy or Telwyn? I know that the both review of the episode and the trailer is not as super descriptive as I normally give it, but quite honestly, the episode is just so dull, and the trailer is so... It has enough that it has every point that I like when you do trailers. When a movie studio or a television studio cuts a trailer, it works for what it has, but it's not grabbing my attention. So hopefully this episode will grab my attention. So overall, what do you think about both the episode and the trailer? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And a trailer and episode review will be coming. Hopefully I'll be able to watch it Thursday night. If not, I'll try to do it over the weekend. So share your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Bye, guys.